First of all, this paper is joint work with me and Yee Kyoung Kim. So we'll also share the presentation. I'll do the first kind of introduction, then Yee Kyoung Kim will do all the details or the econometric analysis part. Okay. The topic is about quite general one. In other words, it's about role of intellectual property right in economic development, but especially technological development in Korea. Okay. And I'll do part 1 and 2 as an introduction, then the 3 and 4 will be done by Yee Kyoung Kim. Okay. And it's quite well known that Korea has shown very remarkable progress in technological development led by big corporations like Samsung, LG, and Hyundai Motors. Okay? And actually they are the ones who are doing most of the job in filing patent in not only in Korea but also in US. For example, if Korea file about 10,000 patents, and then more than half are by top 5 business groups. Right? So it's very heavy concentration. The structure is quite opposite to the case in Taiwan, where more widespread among SMEs. Anyway, Korea issuing US patent increased very rapidly, like almost zero in early 80s to almost like 3% nowadays. Okay, getting 2.5%, and also in numbers now reaching to more than 10,000. Okay, so not only US patent, but also some data shown by others in this today's conference. In terms of triadic patent, Korea was ranked 4 or 5, right? So the task for us is to explain the role of IP protection in Korea's technological development. Okay. Basically, who drove such rapid upgrading in technological capability. Right? So to do this, we'll take somewhat dynamic perspective on IPR protection. And our argument is basically similar to the remarks by Browning Hall this morning about the role depending upon the level of your development. In other words, the positive role by IPR was more true in terms of the case of upper or middle income countries. So we'll take Korea as showing diverse level of development. In early days, Korea was low income countries. In later days, Korea was moving beyond middle income then to close to rich high income countries. So Korea can be a good example in showing that kind of dynamic or kind of somewhat balanced view of IPR's role in economic development. Okay? So the cutting point from our analysis is like mid-1980s, and we want to see that period as a kind of a threshold in Korea's effort to upgrade their ability in technological innovation. Okay, so we're going to see before that Korea was latecomer in these areas, and Korea focusing more on imitation-oriented strategy. So Korea was rather passive in patent protection. Okay, so instead of a patent, another form of IPR, which is weaker form, which is utility model, we call 실용신안. Okay, it's a putty patent, sometimes called putty patent, was the major form of IPR filed by Korean inventors. Okay. Now, if you turn to later stages, Korea was able to gradually build up more capabilities, so they tended to have more need for IPR protection for themselves. So there are more active use of IPR. Okay. Also, due to this, there was a shift from reliance more on utility model or putty patent to regular invention patent. So we're going to show this transition in terms of both time series analysis, also firm level analysis. Okay. So I'll skip this literature. Okay. So So we're going to show by these two different methodology, we're going to show how patent right protection in Korea has affected innovation. Okay, and the focus is about changing role of patent right protection. Okay, depending upon stage of economic development. Okay, and also we're going to examine role of utility model or putti patent in Korea's technological development. Okay, the role has been changing depending upon stage of economic growth. Okay, and to do this analysis, we have developed the IPR patent right index following the famous method by Walter Park. And although he did this for many countries over with a 5-year interval, we did it for every year from 1960 to 2005. So we have a 40 years index of IPR protection in patent protection in Korea. Okay, so I'll not go into details of his methodology. It's basically giving point to several 5 aspects of the patent right protection. Okay, so this is what we got in terms of this 40 years period of patent right index in Korea. So we will be using this in our time series, also in form level analysis. Okay? So it used to be close to 2 and is reaching almost 5. Okay? And the jump was made during 1980s. Okay? More steep jump was made late 1980s. Okay? So we say this is kind of threshold in many aspects of Korea's upgrading. And some overview of IPR system in Korea, I'll skip, it's in the paper. Okay. Then some brief explanation about difference between the putti patent and regular invention patent. One easy criteria is that putti patent has much shorter period of protection, and they are awarded to the less novel invention with the less smaller amount of originality. Okay. And they are not subject to very serious elimination. Sometimes we provide the protection just by registration. Okay. And this shows the interesting picture of the role of different forms of IPR. Okay. This is utility mode putti patent. It was quite dominant forms of IPR in Korea during most of period of time. Okay. And we have more than 6 or like 7 times bigger number of utility model than regular patent. It is only 1990s that the number of regular patent becoming close to number of putti patent eventually become bigger. Okay. It happened only mid-1990s. Okay. But you see the trend of picking up by regular patent. It happened started from mid-1980s. Okay. So it's clearly showing that different role of different forms of IPR having different role depending upon the stage of economic development. Okay. And this shows that mid-1980s as a critical threshold in several aspects. Okay. First, in terms of the most critical event is that this is first time the Korean companies, led by big company, were starting to establish their in-house R&D centers. Before that, there was no in-house R&D centers. We used to rely more on just on licensing or the know-how input. Okay? Then we realized that that's not enough. So Korean company are resorting to setting up R&D centers. And it was also driven by government. Government realized that importance too, and starting giving tax incentives or subsidy those firms who are establishing in-house R&D centers. Then that's so during this time, the share of private R&D in total R&D become bigger than half. Okay? Nowadays, the share of private R&D in Korea is almost 80%, or highest in the world, much higher than in European countries, even USA. Okay? And this is period that R&D to GDP ratio surpassed 1% threshold. Many of the latecomer countries has hardly surpassed 1% threshold ratio. In almost no country in Latin America has higher 1% higher than 1% ratio in R&D to GDP ratios. Okay? So I think this is one of the important features of Korean economic growth, which distinguish Korea from other latecomers, and that's the important period that's made a kind of a seed for the technical jump. Okay. And with that, let me turn to the Yee Kyoung. Okay. And let me finish by emphasizing that Korea is one of few countries in the world which has very detailed data of both regular pattern and putty pattern, each firm level, over many two decades. So we are utilizing that in this paper, also another paper with Walter Park, on submission to some other journals. Okay, thank you.
Here in this picture, you can see the green line here, the ratio of utility models to patents, which used to be nearly 2 to 3 in the 1970s, and the early 1980s began to decline. Given that the growth rate of utility model filings began to decline, and the number of patent applications began to rise as technological capability of Korea has advanced beginning the mid-80s. Thus, we asked the question that did patent protection or utility model protection provide incentives to innovate and help pave the way for the increased technological development? With this question in mind, we set up 3 hypotheses and conducted empirical analysis. The first hypothesis is to examine how IPR protection affected innovation differently across the stage of economic development in Korea. A relatively lower level of IPR protection might have been more suitable for incremental or adaptive innovations during the early stage of economic development in Korea with lower innovative capacity. However, once Korea's technological capacity grew further, Korea would need to establish a stronger IPR system to protect its own innovations. Thus, we set up hypotheses as follows. In Korea, patent protection has been positively associated with innovation only after Korea acquired greater technological capabilities. To test the linkage between IPR and innovation, both time series analysis and panel data analysis are conducted. For the time series analysis, yearly data from 1965 to 2001 were used. The variable was first difference to resolve the non-stationary problem. The model is specified to estimate the dynamic impact of patent rights to protection on the growth rate of the total number of patents in Korea after controlling for R&D expenditure, which is the input innovation, and GDP, which is to control for the higher propensity to generating innovations. For the patent right protection, we use 2 kinds of IPR dummy variable, either dummy variables dividing the entire years into 6 sub periods, or high IPR dummy of which threshold year is 1986. The model 1 and 2 test whether the impact of patent rights index on the growth of patent application differs by periods. Results show that the influence of IPR dummy is insignificant during the early stage of development, while the positive influence of IPR on the technology changes began to significant since 1986 in Model 1. However, the IPR 6 dummy 6 is found to be insignificant, which may suggest that too strong protection would reinforce the patent holder's monopoly and discourage potential innovators to enter. Nevertheless, overall, strong patent protection is found to be positively associated with innovation after Korea began to engage in in-house R&D activities since 1986, and Model 2 also supports this hypothesis. The same hypothesis is now analyzed by firm-level panel data in order to provide a better understanding at the micro level on how Korean firms changed their innovative activities under the different patent protection regimes. Firm-level data of Korea cover the period of 1970 to 1995, which covers the transition of Korea from low mid-income country to the high-income industrialized country. For the model specification, knowledge production function augmented with IPR index was adopted. All variables are 5-year averaged to control business fluctuation. In order to control for a potential endogeneity between IPR production and innovation, one period lag patent right index was used and estimated using a negative binomial model. In order to estimate the dynamic impact of patent right index, the interaction term with time trend was included. The results in column 3 shows that R&D expenditure is found to be positively significant, whereas patent right index is found to be negative but insignificant. Overall, this indicates that strong patent right protection does not spur innovation, but rather higher R&D input increases the probability of patent generation. However, the resulting 4 find the interaction term to be significantly positive even after controlling for R&D expenditures. This supports the position that strong IPR is positively associated with patents only after firms are technologically advanced. Thus, the finding is strong conventional patent protection induces more patent generation at a later stage of development only, and did not spur more patent application when Korea was technologically left behind. These results suggest that a policy to strengthen patent protection is more appropriate for countries that have acquired a certain level of technological capabilities than those whose technologies are at low level. Thus, the phase of technological development needs to be considered in designing patent protection policy. Then, how could Korea accumulate the technological capabilities during the early stage of development? Rather, weak patent protection could have encouraged Korean firms to acquire or imitate foreign advanced technologies. However, such weak protection is not sufficient condition for economic or technological growth as shown in the case of India. Thus, instead, we focus on the utility model as a useful stimulus to developing countries developing technological capacity. The utility model gave incentives to small inventors with fewer resources or limited technological capabilities. This enabled them to acquire and accumulate knowledge by learning by doing, and provided them a stepping stone for further technological progress. Thus, in order to test whether utility model system can eventually stimulate regular inventions, we set up the hypothesis like experience with producing minor invention is an important determinant of a firm's technological capability to produce inventive innovations. The model includes utility model and R&D expenditure to measure the amount of knowledge within the firm, and utility model has a binary value depending on the year. Since knowledge accumulation that allows firms to generate future new patent inventions takes some time, one period lagged utility model was included. In model 3 indicates that firms with utility models have high probability to apply for the new patent. Even after controlling for R&D expenditure. Empirically, utility models are found to be beneficial in enhancing their technological capabilities, and this supports the hypothesis. However, the relative importance of utility model is reduced as firms' technological capabilities grow. Model 4, including interaction term of utility model with time trend, indicates that utility model increase the probability of patent application, whereas such impact diminishes as Korea's technological capabilities rise. Here's the negative sign. Thus, this indicates that the utility model system is more beneficial to developing countries or technologically poor countries. Finally, hypothesis 3 is to test whether firm growth is also positively associated with minor inventive activities, utility models. The logic behind this is as follows. Despite the function of the patent to help a company achieve sufficient returns on its investment through commercialization, the technologically lagged firms at their early development stage could be limited in achieving sufficient returns due to various factors such that inability to prevent other firms from copying the technology, high cost of or limited access to capital or related technology. Thus, etc. Thus, they may find that incremental innovation with utility model could help position themselves in existing markets with a low cost. Hypothesis 3 is tested using the sales growth equation with a variable for utility model application after controlling for R&D and intensity, investment, and size of employment and firm age. Here, the results shows that firms with utility model show no better performance for the entire period here. Not significant. However, the impact of utility model changes by period when utility model is interacted with time trend. As in 4, the coefficient of utility model dummy is found to be significant and positive, but such positive impact decreases as time passes. The negative and significant coefficient of the interaction term of utility model and time trend indicates that the importance of utility model decreases as Korea began to acquire greater technological and R&D capabilities. Concluding remarks. Different from current academic and policy debates with a focus on the effects of strong IPRs in general and on raising developing countries' standards to developed countries' level, this paper has focused on the dynamic role of IPR system, such as conventional patent protection system and utility models, as factors of Korea's rapid technological development. Given the results so far, Korea's current technological capabilities are the outcome of both utility models during the early stage of development and patent innovation activities encouraged by strong patent rights protection during the later stage of development. In other words, lack of either one may not guarantee technological development. Thus, the grand finding for this paper is that the proper design and the strength of an IPR system tailored to the indigenous technological capabilities is required to achieve successfully industrialized dynamics like Korea. Thank you.